YouTube? This is for a very good YouTuber. He really takes his time with his videos, and I'm going to say this to him only once. Never need to apologize for the length of the videos. Many people on here already look to watch and learn and be entertained. So as long as the content is crisp, entertaining, insightful, etc., etc., no need to worry. And I'm talking about Philly 2K 5041. He does a lot of great videos about his collection, about vlogs, questions. He's always active, and I can always count on him when I need a little entertainment and insightfulness. So Philly 2K 5041, keep it up, bro. He recently did a few videos on your Jackie Chan collection, also martial arts movies collection, and that is my expertise. So I thought I'll try a little thing here where this movie here, which you mentioned you didn't really put in your video, that's King Boxer, aka Five Fingers of Death. And this movie kind of started the whole martial arts craze in America back in '72. Now, most people say, what happened to Bruce Lee? Well, Bruce Lee came consequence to this. So this film was one of the few that came here, exported, and basically drove the whole decade in the whole '70s as far as the whole kung fu craze. And you bastard, Philly 2K, I challenge you. You must watch this film. It is okay. Anyway, yeah. Since I'm a little older, I kind of grew up with these movies from the mid '80s up to the '90s, where I started collecting them, and going from the big ass box VHS that I have in my parents' house, which I'll probably have to get to one of these days, and anyway, and DVDs, and now there's a few Blu-rays here and there that they did. So any genre, anytime they got to change the format, I'm gonna always find a way to always have my collection of these type of films. They speak to me in a way that that I can relate to. I've always been entertained by them. They're not gonna always have the greatest content as far as story, but I'm not watching it for that most of the time. Usually it's the martial arts, the movement, the philosophy, even sometimes the way it's filmed. And I think some Hollywood directors need to kind of like watch some of these films, because everything now is quick cut and too fast with the frames and too close up with the fights. You gotta let a fight breathe. Let it breathe. You can put the camera set up in the middle, put it low, you can put it high, leave it wide, like everything it can be, like, close up, punch, edit, and you don't really see the two people engage in a fight most of the time, and it drives me nuts, because and I know that I'm not the only one who notices this. So, just an avid film watcher can kind of sense that. And it happens a lot in Hollywood films, and it continues to happen. It's just driving me crazy. But anyway, before I get off subject, which I can, I wanted to talk about this. So, this came out about '72, and the main character here is Lole, and he is, ironically enough, he's known more as playing villainous characters, primarily Pai Mei, which ironically most people know Pai Mei from the Kill Bill series, which was played by Gordon Liu, and that, like I said, has a whole nother video. But he originally played Pai Mei in many films, including one of your collections that you showed, An Execution of Shaolin. That was the first time he was in there. And then another film that most people know about is Fist of the White Lotus, which is kind of like a semi-sequel to Execution of Shaolin, which Gordon Liu does play in that movie. So I guess it's a role reversal. But yeah, in most of the films you see Lole, he's usually playing a villainous character, and he seems to thrive off it, really. So it's rare that he's playing the good guy role. So they basically, why this film became so popular is, I guess, American audiences begin to see the type of film that these films were coming out from Hong Kong, especially Shaw Brothers, which is the quintessential kung fu movie studio at that time. I think it's like the whole fantasy part of it. of men doing these sort of martial arts move and having such chi, such power. It's kind of like it's kind of sense of like the very beginnings of comic book movies. I mean, these men doing these extraordinary things based on their years and months of training can lead to these extraordinary things as far as martial arts is concerned. So this young man here is being trained by his shifu, and unfortunately he's getting older, and he sends him on to another friend of his, another shifu, which he can grasp his kung fu skills. And within his village, there's this martial arts tournament that's happening, and it's kind of like all the little schools are kind of like competing with each other as far as who's the best. And little needs to say, he goes to the school, his kung fu skills is not good enough, so basically, out of out of debt and duty to his old shifu, he still keeps him on as someone, as a cleaner upper guy. But what he doesn't realize is, as he's cleaning up and things like that, he's also kind of like building up his body, and I don't think he realizes that. Kind of like a Karate Kid reference. Anyway, uh, builds up his body. He realizes that he is learning kung fu after all, and the shifu kind of like introduces him to a specific style called the is it the Iron Fist? Something like that. And basically, it's training your hands to build this chi where your hands are so strong enough it'll leave a serious dent. It's funny, yes, but when it's a deadly style. So once it's known that he's learning this, it's trouble. So basically, there's this other plot with this other school. This conniving guy, he hires like these Japanese guys to kind of like take him out, and all this other thing happened with the movie. And it's funny because like if you watch Kill Bill, you see the influences from this, because the theme where he like when he shows off his Iron Fist hands and like it starts doing dun, 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 it's this thing that's stolen from here, which in other words, a lot of these films took themes from a lot of American movies, didn't have the license to do it, didn't care. And if you watch them now, you're like, oh my god, that's stuff, they just took that thing from whatever. Anyway, it's very creative. I mean, now, as far as action choreography, this is pretty good. But like I said, as the years go by and the movies keep evolving, Bruce Lee and all the other type of martial arts stars, it gets better. But the camera work here is very well done. Lole, though even though he's pretty good as a villain, he does play a pretty good job as this character, and it's really fun to watch. I mean, I don't want to give too much away. It's a pretty simple plot. You know, he learns his style, and eventually he enters a tournament and he wins. But then there's some other things that happen, and then he kind of like takes out the bad guy. Now it's funny, like they're very creative when they want to show his chi in his hands. When he goes like this, they kind of like flash like a red light, a red beam of light, to kind of emphasize the power in his fists and his hands. And it's funny you mention it because there's another movie that's similar to that. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called The Last Dragon, which is where I get my name from, Leo Green 85, aka The Last Dragon. Anyway, when the Shogun of Harlem, when he reaches the glow, you kind of notice his hands glowing. And I guess that's kind of like a homage or reference to the Five Fingers of Death, or aka King Boxer. Like I said, I think American audiences were looking for something new and fresh. The Western phase was kind of fading out. Now there was just like something that was totally fresh as far as action, fantasy. You know, it's kind of like we didn't have those superhero films, CGI films then. So this is as CGI as it gets. I mean, the flips and the kicks and the jumping up in the air, and I think we got a kick out of it. And plus, the dubbing was so bad, it became comical. So it's kind of like you expected that cheesiness, you know, maybe a missing frame, the grain, you know, the whole, all that builds the character of why we love these type of movies. So the whole 70s was built based on popularity of this, and of course Bruce Lee took it to a whole new level. And then the 80s, pretty much, you know, it was on put on national TV. So, you know, people from that time kind of grew up on this, and it's heavily influenced by many people, including, of course, Quentin Tarantino, most famous, and the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan, and his movie, well, total freaking mess, but that's another story. But I'm glad you picked up this DVD, bro. This is the first line from Dragon Dynasty from the Weinsteins. Now, they promised us they supposedly acquired like 30, 40 Shaw Brothers films, and apparently, I guess, I don't know if they're out of business or what, because they haven't released anything. Dragon Dance haven't released anything in like maybe a year or two, and they came out strong. They had this, they had 36 Chambers of Shaolin, they had a few others. My Young Auntie, um, Fist of the Fist of Legend, but that's the older one. I'm talking about Executions for Shaolin. Uh, One Armed Swordsman, Return of One Armed Swordsman. So, there's tons of great Shaw Brothers films that, that I mean, I've seen, I have, but, it would be great if they would put them out because they have pretty good quality, widescreen, and, if you're more of a film enthusiast and purist, then most of them do offer the Cantonese, Mandarin language as well as the English dub and subtitles, just for your viewing pleasure. And to finally have these in widescreen, to really see how they were really truly shot, it's nice because there's some really good cinematography in them, and there's some good. And then one thing I really like about this particular DVD is the commentary by no other than Quentin Tarantino. And trust me when I tell you, he doesn't do commentaries. It's very rare that he does them, and that he put himself for this particular release. And I've listened to this many times, and I get a kick out of it. He's doing his shtick, and I happen to like listening to director commentaries. I mean, not many people do, but I do. Um, and just like I said, for a martial arts release, for them to put that much care into adding special features such as a director's commentary and interviews, like I said, like they put some care and quality into these releases. So I didn't mind paying at the time $15 because you're going to get good quality picture, widescreen, and special features. But they stopped, and that's a shame. But I mean, I can always find my way to find these type of films, but not for the average person. But Philly 2K 5041, you did right, my friend, by getting this, and hopefully down the line I'll make some more videos explaining more about the genre and different types. But if you haven't seen this, or anyone else haven't seen this, please check this out. I'm pretty sure it's uploaded on YouTube. It goes by two different names, King Boxer, or AKA Five Fingers of Death, Lo Lee, Shaw Brothers. Can never ever go wrong. So YouTubers out there, peace, salam, namaste.